All right, everyone. Hello. This is Josh, also known as Yashu. You're just tuning into episode 82 of the TLOY Talks podcast. You can get it on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, much more, and all that. I'm just gonna get it started right here. So we have a returning guest back on the platform. For their first actual like podcast episode too. I actually interviewed them back in like 2020, like usually like before the end of the year and all that, and like also like when COVID was like happening and all that too, and we discussed the story and everything else too. Now they're back with a new purpose in life and just with everything going on with a new collective, a show coming up at the end of the month and all that, and like much more and all that. So we have Kame back on the pod. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. The way you introduced me was beautiful. Back with a new purpose was crazy. That is the best way I anyone could have said it. So thank you
Yeah,
very
no, for
much.
sure. And like I know right now, you have like a new collective called like VILLN and all that, and like also, you have like a lot of like new changes and all that too, and like it's amazing to see with you going to OCAD and like you like starting like the collective and all that too, and like I want to like get more onto your thing going on right now. So since like the last time, how's like life been for you since then in terms of your personal and musical growth and all that?
Well, where I was before, I was a very naive kid, and I had a lot of passion. And I had to kind of build my skills because I was talking for like a while, being like, oh, "I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this," right? And I would say there was a point where I feel like I lost the faith of many people, right? I had friends, great friends. Shout out to H, shout out to Paris. They stuck around, and showed me true love. But I felt like because I was in a very kind of flaky time in my life where I made these promises, I didn't deliver on them. I was kind of like in a weird limbo state where I had the talent, but I just was too naive to see things for they were. Right. So it took some time. Also, I was at that time, I didn't grow up in Barrie, but I was living in Barrie at the time for like a year. Um, and it was like during COVID, and it was just a very isolating time. Nothing was really going on for me. Now that I live in Toronto, new purpose, see new people, and now my knowledge on how the industry is and how to converse with other creatives. I've definitely made progress with general socializing, and I would say where I was before was I think the best way to describe it is just like isolated and naive. And now I have, the collective villain, and now I'm learning how to, better communicate my ideas where maybe back then I couldn't. Right? I know when I talked to you last time, it was around the drop of Pink Polygon, right? And, that was a body work that I felt didn't represent me even when we did the interview, right?
Yeah.
So I feel now I'm making new promises to new people and I'm actually following through with them, right? So I guess that would be the biggest things is
Yeah.
is actually getting myself out there and being in an environment such as Toronto to
Yeah.
be able to do such a thing,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Sure.
the way I talk is very scattered. I
Yeah,
a
nah,
lot of
I
things hit me
definitely
at once.
understand. And like from when I was like typing your name like last time too, you actually like removed like the music and all that, like your entire like catalog like on all platforms. And I guess it's kind of like to make like a new slate, like in a sense and all that.
Mhm. Um, Everything's still up on SoundCloud. I kind of use SoundCloud as like an archive, right? I don't
Yeah.
want it. I don't want the music to represent me, but I don't want them gone because it's growth, right?
Yeah.
I would say for Spotify, Pink Polygon, I would constantly meet new people. And at the time, I was working on an album called Kame House, which I was talking about
True,
since
true.
our last one, right?
Yeah.
In that project, and this is what I mean with what I said earlier, I was naive, right? And I didn't know how to talk to people, so not a lot of people wanted to help me because like I had big talks, but I had nothing to show for, right? So I had to balance a lot of things, make every beat myself before I really even had the skills to, and I was trying to overdo something I couldn't, right? So I had all these ideas and all these music that I had in all these demos, and I would talk to people, being like, "Hey, I make music. Let's get in contact." People were like, "Okay, let me see your Spotify," and then they'll see Pink Polygon, and I didn't like at the time. I didn't like having that represent me. To an extent, I still don't, but I kind of regret taking it down because people still resonated with it,
Yeah.
right? Um, but I would say it was a clean slate, and because I've kind of been gone for some time, I feel like I'm back in a state where I'm a new artist again, and I'm relaunching
Yeah.
my career, right? I feel like I even changed my name. It's not a big difference, Kid Kame, and now I just go by Kame.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's sleeker, and
Yeah.
I feel it more or less represents a 22-year-old person, right?
Yeah.
Kid Kame.
Like a
There's
kid from high school and all that.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I like,
Yeah. Because when you had Kid Kame, were you still like in high school or like I think
I actually had Kid Kame since I was 16. So, when I was in high school, and I kept it until I was like 18, and everyone just kept calling me Kame, and I liked the way that sounded more. Um but yeah, it was definitely, to kind of have a clean slate. And, now when I meet people and I say I make music, right, I would either show them demos or I would prove myself in other ways, right? Just talking about music. And I find that now the people I'm interacting with are like DJs in the underground electronic house,
yeah.
drum and bass scene, so on and so forth,
Yeah.
right? They have been really wonderful to me, and VILLN as well.
Yeah, no, for
So
sure.
we could definitely talk more about that as time goes on.
Yeah.
But I want to just answer your question instead of going on
Yeah, no, for sure. And
yeah.
you moved to Toronto and I'm guessing it's like more so for school and all that, right?
Um no, I was in Toronto before that, right? You know, when I was still living in Barrie, I would actually be in Toronto quite often with my friend H, where I kind of couch surf at his place because I couldn't stand being in Barrie. I'm even lying to you. I didn't actually live in Barrie. I lived in a small place called Innisfil. That place has nothing. It sucks. It's so boring. I
Yeah.
love it though. I love the people out there. They're very nice, and they were very nice to me. But as like an early at the time I was 19, 18, so but around that age, like you want to see the world, right? And I just wasn't making connections out there. So living, even if I had to couch surf at my friend's place for like a month or so, I felt that not only was I socializing, but I was out doing things.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I met my now fiance, and they're kind of the reason why I even started going to OCAD, because they also go to OCAD,
Ah,
right?
nice.
And now we live together in a dorm, right? I pay half the rent. I'm not couch surfing anymore, right? And it's been quite nice, and they respect my business, right? When I tell them, hey, I'm gonna do an interview with Lenza Yashu, or I got an event to go to, I got rehearsals, right? They give me a lot of freedom, and I do not take that freedom for granted.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I do, but there's like a balance of like, I will do my thing, and in return, right, I'll do something for you,
Yeah.
right? Maybe take you on a date, or get
Yeah.
you do something nice, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like
It's a
it,
part
it's
of the
it's
process like in a way and all that.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
got you
yeah.
because
It's a lot not always
yeah.
having me there and having me
Yeah.
busy, right? It takes a lot of time
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
right? And I think that was probably one of the biggest things, right? I don't want to go too deep in
Yeah,
that
no, no,
though.
no worries. And no, I kind of agree too. Like having someone like as a partner that is like kind of like minded, like in you, and like in terms of journeys, goals, all that type of stuff too. It's always important to have like in the long run too, because like they understand like the vision like more than anything else. Like they can like live with you, like know more about you, like know what you like, everything else too, and like it just kind of works out from there. Like I think even like friends too. Like I was like talking with this friend of mine just like some days back, and like we were talking about how there's like two sides of like a workplace and all that too. People with an intended purpose on like what they're gonna do, like what they want to practice and everything like that, versus others that have like nothing going on for their lives and all that too. And like from what I've noticed, like people who don't have like anything in their like lives going on, like they just go to work and that's it. They're more into like what's going on at work or at that environment too, because they understand because they want something that's exciting like in their life and all that. So like workplace drama or anything like that, that's like kind of the way, or like school drama and all that,
Hmm.
versus others that let's say they have like something in mind, like their music or this podcast or like other stuff and all that too. They're gonna be 100% more invested into doing that, and like they just kind of go like in deep on just focusing on work and going home. Like this is just hey, I'm here making this check, we're going home and all that too. And then
Hmm.
the whole like journey and like goal that they were trying to achieve is like after what hours and all that too and all that. So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. I can't relate. I don't have a job.
No, but like with anything and all that, like even going to school too, like OCAD, like when people go to OCAD, like and they have something in mind, like they're focusing on like what they have in mind, and then just going to school, like getting their education, like going home and all that too. Like that's just like one thing that I'll take in, like, just in case and all that, but it's not like an identity that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life and all that too. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think, like, since going to OCAD, has it, like, kinda changed your aspect on finding a community, like, within, like, the music and all that and, like, with everything else too?
That's funny. That's very interesting. You would think so. OCAD is a very creative school. It's one of the best art schools in North America, from what I understand. And it's the kind of school that even a lot of artists feel is a privilege. Like I talked to a lot of artists, been like, "Oh, I go to OCAD," and it's like, "Oh man, that's the dream. Oh man, I wanted to go to OCAD, but I didn't think I was good enough." Dog, it's so easy to go to OCAD. Like they accept almost everyone, and I love OCAD, but there were times where it's not exactly what I'm looking for, right? Um, and I'm not here to bash OCAD again. I love the professors, the programs are great, but when it comes to what I'm trying to look for, funny enough, I actually find that I work with a lot more people from TMU, Toronto
Yeah.
Metropolitan University, uh, and you know, they have great programs for photographers there. So I would do like music video shoots, photo shoots with people
Alright.
there. I would work with them, model for them. Right, I've done three model gigs with with students from TMU, and I did music video for MoistMyMy a couple weeks back. I hope she would talk about it when she
Yeah.
gets here. Um, and even just musically, right? I kind of found my way to an underground scene, and I don't see a lot of OCAD faces. I do know a few OCAD artists, but funny enough, when it comes to music, I don't see a lot. Right? You get the one or two band members, you get the one or two producers, but overall, most of my connections have been from other avenues. I will say, um, that school OCAD is filled with talented and great artists, illustrators, and when I find time to kind of work more in that sphere, LCAT is definitely more or less my go-to place, right? Musically though,
Yeah, I
not
know what
really.
you mean.
Yeah.
And, you're still making music to this, day, correct?
Yes. I'm
Alright.
actually working on a couple EPs. I'm kind of done trying to strive for an album. I just want to get some music out, and starting with smaller things, building a name. I feel is important, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And do you feel like you have, like, grown as an artist from, like, the start until now? Like, just in terms of, like, what you mentioned, like, everything else, going on as well too?
Oh man, I'm a lot better than I was. For one, I got more custom. I've been producing even before Pink Polygon, but there was a point where I stopped producing and I just used YouTube beats the entire time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't satisfied because I'm like, I want to orchestrate my own sounds, and I started producing anyway. So it's like, why am I not taking my potential into this,
Yeah.
right? So then I started producing more, right? And then my producing got better. And I started trying to take my singing more serious because during the Pink Polygon era, it was very flat, simple, kind of monotone, dead kind of singing, right? That was the aesthetic, right? So I started taking that more serious. And then, I met Paris, and he pushed me to even do better with rapping because,
True.
he loves lyricism, right? He's like a purist in hip hop. He loves rap, and he wants people to challenge themselves lyrically. So I pushed myself in almost every fucking way I could. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
cool, man. Yeah.
almost every way I could, right? And I'm excited to be able to show the music I've been working on. I've been dabbling in many different genres. I have a song that is very inspired by reggae because my dad's Jamaican, I'm half Jamaican, and I love the culture and the music. Pop music for one,
Yeah.
I got a fucking PSA. People got to be proud of pop music. If you make pop music, just say it, right? A lot of people they want to be in the
Yeah.
pop world, but then they don't want to say they make pop music. Like I love pop music, right? Obviously, rap, trap, um, and a couple newer sounds I would like to someday explore. Like new jazz
Yeah.
is a very new one in the underground. Uh, I was working on some drum and bass music, so maybe some drum and bass, some Jersey beats, and some other electronic music as well, since that's kind of the scene I find myself in currently.
Yeah.
And just a lot of new things. I've definitely explored new sounds and just kind of studied them as well. So yeah.
For sure. No, I'll definitely, like, tap that in, like, once there's, like, releases and all that too. And, we're talking about, like, your new collective, right now, VILLN. Like, that's correct, right?
Hmm.
So how did that come about? And explain to me like the meaning and the purpose of this like collective and all that.
So I would say when I got into like summer of last year is when I met another collective called 999 Herd, right? Uh, the leader 999 ADJ, another member Ogaga, shout out Leros, right? These are all people that I've had the blessings and just meeting them was such like fortunate, not unfortunate, fortunate event, right? Because they really put me onto a lot of new things, right? How it actually came about was that I had the idea of having a DJ on Kame. It's kind of like Damn, or you know that Tyler album, Call Me If You Get Lost.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had like an idea of like a DJ sponsoring my album, right? And then that's someone recommended me a 999 ADJ. I'm gonna just say ADJ for now.
Yeah.
All right. I met her, right? She started inviting me more to her shows. I went out to more of her shows, right? And then I found that the community was just really great. Now with Tayo, I knew Tayo beforehand, right? We actually went to the same high school, but we didn't really like we connected after high school. Like we weren't really like friends in high school, but we connected afterwards. I found that they also produced and they were really good, and we had a lot of the same taste, right? So then I would start bringing them out to the events, right? To kind of meet. It's like, yo, check this out. I just found this scene. It's so dope, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where I met MoistMyMy. She was already kind of in that, like, we got in the scene. We all got in the scene relatively at the same time, but they were there a couple months before I was. And through MoistMyMy is also where met Deja, who owns the fashion brand Daisy, right? And I spoke with Ty. I was like, hey, you know what? Because we were already kind of collabing on some music. It's like, what if we kind of just made a collective, right? Because we know a lot of people, and I feel like starting off at the level we are at, it's good to have kind of an ecosystem or platform to kind of push each other. So I started getting more acquainted with MoistMyMy, right? And to an extent, she kind of reminded me of a lot of myself
Oh,
because
nice.
right, we kind of had the same history of producing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this now, but they're probably gonna say this themselves. They make little mixes on SoundCloud, and they use like a video editing thing
Okay.
to make their mixes, right? They'll get samples and shit. I used to do the same thing on iMovie, so it was
Oh,
like it was kind
nice.
of funny. And then they made a cover, like singing cover songs on their Instagram, and I'm just like, you know, let's get you in the studio. Like you're really good, and I didn't have to like show them how they're already really good at writing, so it just seemed like this is something that they've been doing or practicing for some time. With Deja, I met Deja through MoistMyMy, right? And then we had a good conversation. So I met a lot of these people quite organically. There's other two members that I haven't really gotten the chance to talk about too much. But one of them is Phoenix, right? I met her in that same kind of scene, right? Lovely person, dope DJ. I went to go see one of their sets a couple days ago, and then another DJ called Ainua.
Yeah.
Well, her name is Ainua. That's like just her actual name. Um, she also goes to OCAD, and she's in New York currently, right? So sadly, neither Phoenix or Ainua could come, but that's fine because it's not about if you can make it to this one thing. As long as you're keeping yourself busy, then and you appreciate what VILLN is as a brand and as a movement, as I like to say, then I just want to be able to see that those things align.
Yeah, no, for sure. And with a lot of the people that are like in the collective too, like it's like a lot of like POC and all that, like a lot of people from like different backgrounds and all that too. Is it like something that you're trying to achieve and all that to make it like friendly for or make it open for like a community like that might not have like that same like interactions in a dominant like collective like in a sense too?
That's very interesting. Because it's all coincidental. It's people who I somewhat align myself with. The name wasn't even originally VILLN, right? It wasn't even originally VILLN. I was trying to come up with a name that sounded cool, right? It was a K Marshall Cuban Link, some
Oh,
like
true.
crazy name like that. And K Marshall sounds like Kame, and Marshall's
Yeah.
my last name. So I hated that name because it's like it's not about me. But K Marshall was actually a reference to Kerry James Marshall, a contemporary black artist that I admire. It was just coincidental. I'm like, it feels weird having this collective with it being K Marshall Cuban Link. That just sound weird. Like it is like, ugh. So then I'm like, okay, I hate this name. Let's workshop it. I'm not even the one that came up with the name VILLN, right? It was actually Deja Deja and MoistMyMy. If I say Maya anytime in this podcast, I'm referring to MoistMyMy, right? And I love the name because I'm like, okay, like there's a few ways you could kind of interpret it, but the reason why I felt so strongly about it is because I found that there was like a somewhat of a pattern of the people that were involved with VILLN, right? People who might not be in the collective but are associate, or people actually in the collective. And I find that majority of the time it is black women, right? Or black femme presenting or femme identifying
Yeah.
people, right? And that was something that I didn't really initially think about when I started. I just want a people like I just wanted a collective in which I could be in an environment and have a friend group to where I can stay creative and we could push each other, right?
Sure.
But I just kind of found that, well, there was also like a reason, like I wanted to ask Dazzy. That's a secret. I never told Dazzy about it, but I wanted to ask Dazzy. I wanted to ask some other people. But then I found that a lot of these people either wanted to do something else creatively, or they had a platform or a collective already, right? So then I found that I would kind of, be like, okay, let me find people that I really fuck with creatively, right? And I found that a lot of them were black women. And then, when the name VILLN was presented to me, I'm like, okay, so VILLN is kind of like an antagonist. And I guess in a world that I don't want to get political, but it has to get political because I'm
Yeah.
talking about the branding, right? In a world where it favors, a certain demographic, I'm not gonna really name, but we
Yeah.
all know
Yeah.
a certain demographic of people, right? And I find that, you know, things are often put in place systematically to hold certain people
Yeah. No,
back.
I got you.
Like they are the villains of the system. They are demonized. They are villainized, and to give somewhat of a platform to people. So far, most of the members are all women, but it's not even like an intentional thing, right? Um, like even just as a collective, it is open to even white cis men, right? But it is all about kind of like, do you align and will you be a part of this collective, and will you understand the place in which these people are coming
No,
from?
true.
Will you respect the kind of place that these people are coming from, right? As a woman in hip hop, or a woman in the music industry, right, that has her own platform, right? Because I'm the leader, but I kind of give up a lot of control because I'm like, this platform is for everybody,
Yeah.
right?
No,
So it's all about the individual and adding what you want to it,
for
right?
sure.
And will someone respect that? And even as black people, queer people, um, in hip hop or in music, you know, you do have these platforms. And I want to say this: I am not the answer, right? I did not start this collective because I thought I was the answer to give these marginalized people a platform. There are many collectives and businesses out there that provide spaces for black women and black queer women,
Yeah.
right? This
Exactly.
is just one of the spaces that I want to be a safe space for those
Yeah.
people,
Exactly.
right? The doors are open for men, for white people as well, but these are just so happen to be the people that I resonated with on kind of just like a creative level, resonated with on just pure energy. And I'm glad that, it just so happened that I'm also kind of providing a space for people as well.
In terms of like like the collective like in a way and all that, like what makes it like kind of like different from like the rest and all that.
Um, well, there are a few things that I think stand out in particular. When it comes to who's in the collective, it being people of color, it being women, that is not unique at all, right? There are so many beautiful collectives out there that focus on that, right? There are collectives mainly focused on African talent, Caribbean women talent, right? I do know one. Shout out to Noah's Collective. They're definitely doing their thing, setting up plenty of opportunities and events to people in the underground scene. Um, But I guess for us, I guess there's a certain level of juvenileness to it, to where you got all these brands that are very like kind of structured and professional, right? And there's like a certain very hyper focused, and I'm not talking about any collectors in particular, but I do find that there's a certain level of like overstructure, right? And where you have to favor and put you all into this collective, right? With VILLN, it's a little bit more loose. I'm a very lenient person. Um, so I never really tell anyone what to do. Like I would inform them, inform them, hey, we got a podcast this day, we got a music video this day, we're doing the performance on the 27th. The 27th is when we're doing our show. Um, but apart from that, like, VILLN is all about the individual, right? It's just a platform for the individuals to kind of add and to take what they want, right? They get to kind of add and not add certain things. And just because we're just starting off and because we're all relatively young, there's a lot that we can kind of do on the basis of, yeah. So, because we're new and because we're starting off, there's a lot that I feel we can kind of get away with. Like we're allowed to make mistakes, and I promote mistakes because then you learn from mistakes, right? And there's a certain level of juvenileness to it that I think allows for a lot of creativity, and because of there is structure, but because of the freedom given to the individuals, there's a lot more avenues we could kind of go into. I mean, I'm a producer slash singer songwriter rapper. Tayo is a producer, DJ. A lot of them are actually DJs. I knew was also a DJ. Phoenix is also a DJ. Um, Amaya is a singer, does production as well. Um, and they also do a lot of artwork, illustration. So do I. And Deja focuses on her fashion brand as well, and to kind of give a platform to these people and allow them to kind of do whatever they want creatively is kind of the sole focus of VILLN as a platform. It's not hyper focused on this is a group of DJs. It's not hyper focused on this is a group of rappers. It's not hyper focused on this is a group of fashion people. It is a very open-ended platform for all, right? And I feel that is the platform that VILLN gives. And I feel like just given the safe space, hey, this is a space for women to feel safe. This is a space for people of color to feel safe, queer people to feel safe. That's kind of that's not something that's unique to VILLN, but that is something you get with VILLN.
Yeah, it's a great point to state out right there. And we're just gonna take a break after like everything else, and we'll continue on with the next set of guests as well too.
I couldn't help but notice you're deep in thought, probably brainstorming ideas for your next music project, am I right?
Yeah, I've been thinking about shooting a music video for my latest track, but I'm not sure where to start.
Well, Max, you're in luck because I have just the solution for you. Have you heard about Y2A3 Productions?
Can't say I have. What's so special about them?
Only everything. Y2A3 Productions is the go-to for up-and-coming artists like yourself. They're all about helping talents like you win over audiences with their unique visual style, and get this, at super affordable rates.
Affordable rates, you say? That sounds almost too good to be true. But what about the quality?
Oh, Max, you won't be disappointed. Y2A3 Productions has a reputation for delivering top-notch quality that rivals the big names in the industry. Plus, they're all about collaboration, ensuring your vision shines through every frame.
That sounds amazing. But how do I know they're the right fit for me?
Max, trust me when I say Y2A3 Productions is more than just a production company, they're your creative partners. They'll work tirelessly to understand your style, your message, and bring it to life in a way that resonates with your audience.
Well, you've certainly piqued my interest, Ava. I think I'll give Y2A3 Productions a call and see what magic we can create together.
You won't regret it, Max. Get ready to take your music to the next level.
All right, and we're back, everyone, and all that, and all. So we have two other guests like on the platform that are a part of the collective as well too. So state your names and what do you guys do and all that.
Oh, hello. My name is Deja. I'm a fashion designer for my brand called Daisy.
Hello, my name is Amaya Alexis. I am a creative. I'm based in Toronto, specifically Malvern, and I'm a fashion student. Currently taking commissions. Commission box is open.
For sure. And growing like I want to like ask like maybe like some of the questions like kind of like in twos and all that. So for you guys, like growing up in Malvern and like in another part like in where you're from and all that, like what was like the environment like for you growing up and in that same area? Was it a big place for your crafts at the time and all that?
I definitely do think it was, but at the same time, it was kind of hard for us because, like, I don't know, like, we're just, like, for me, like, I was always kind of, like, called, like, weird and stuff like that. Like, it was just, like, it was really hard for me to be creatively free until I got, like, until I became, old enough. And, like, I was just able to just do it?
Definitely. I agree with Deja for sure. Deja's always been such a creative, like, since middle school, because I met her in middle school. And honestly, I just remember us being on the trail. Nobody else is there. We're just on the trail by our house, making
Like
videos,
biking, like
doing music
and,
videos,
like drawing
like
and like
outfit picture video,
all
like
of that,
outfits of the day, just like
yeah.
like we had a
We're
like
childhood
YouTube channel,
friends.
yeah, for a second.
Nah, I know what you mean. And
Locked in.
to speak on like your individual like crafts and all that, like how did you get like into those and all that?
I don't know.
What were your,
we were
like,
just doing
main
some weird
interests?
stuff.
Yeah.
Like growing up, like what were my main interests? I really started to get like more into like art and like music because of Amaya, because like I first met her like when I was like really young and stuff. So like when I met her, it was just different. It was just like a whole like fresh new experience and stuff like that. And she just helped me like really just be creatively free and stuff like that. I just love her for that so much. So yeah, it probably started with her, and then I was just able to find my way over time too.
Yeah, true. I
Oh,
agree.
nice.
Yeah.
And for my so like you got like more into like creating mixes and all that, like, and I've like listened to it like on SoundCloud and all that, which is like pretty dope by the way. So how did you get into creating mixes and like using SoundCloud as a platform for releasing your music, but like now you're also releasing on Spotify as well?
Thank you. I appreciate the SoundCloud streams. Definitely not heavy on there with the with the views, but I'm trying for sure.
Amen's doing very good, right?
Amen's doing
It's-
amazing.
I'm
It's
hoping
a
for it
fan
to do so.
favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fan favorite.
I appreciate that.
Stream Amen, guys.
Stream Amen. It's on all. It's on all streaming platforms.
MoistMyMy.
MoistMyMy.
Yeah.
Shout out.
For sure. But definitely my interests and like my motivations that led me to making the little mixes are honestly just like creating memories in my head, or just like, because every song, like, it's for I'm doing it for a reason. It's like I had a specific memory with the song, and then I hear a different beat, and like SoundCloud definitely broadened my like music taste when it comes to like just finding different genres to like play around with, because they're mainly known for like making mixes of like mashups of two
Yeah,
different songs.
yeah.
I've always had an interest in that, like even just like when I was younger and like driving in the car, not me, but like when I was in the back seat, like I would just hear songs on the radio and like hum my own different melody to it, or just like create different words for it. And like I feel like it's fun to be creative in that way.
For sure. And like from that, like was it like more like within that was like prior to like your introduction to like music and all that? So like getting into music, what was like that first introduction, and who did you like kind of like listen to growing up?
Definitely whatever was like 92.5, like, yeah, or I don't
Roz and
remember.
Mocha.
Shout out.
Shout out
Kiss
92.5.
92.5.
They had the hits. And on like when it comes to music, for sure, I'll say like core memory I have of childhood is like when I was younger, when I would go to Montreal. Like my dad would always play like 70s, or just like 70s like disco music, or just like calypso music, and just like R&B, all those, like, and that's when I really got to understand like his music taste and just like my roots music taste. But yeah, that's like, I feel like now I'm tapping into it way more, for sure. Like I'm holding on to that memory and like, trying to like literally wring it out and just like create something with it, because I just remember it being a positive time.
Nah, for sure, and all that. And I mean, as far as like singing and like making music, was it something that kind of also like came from like the childhood as well too, or like was it like something like a little bit like more older and all that?
Definitely when I was younger, still music was a big influence in my life. I remember in daycare I would like sing "O Canada" and just try and have my little moment here and there. Like it's just like little school plays. I would just like to,
Did you out sing everybody when you sang
Definitely
"Oh
not.
Canada"?
Definitely not. We had our own turns, you know? Like we stood up on a little podium. Like
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't sing it together?
Independently, yeah.
Wow. What kind of school did you go to?
It was just daycare. Like it was just my like a woman's house. Just like
That's crazy.
you know what I mean? Just something chill, but
Yeah. Because I know there's like the English version, like the French version, and all that
Yes,
too.
love
so, what did you like prefer more and all that?
I love that's such a good question. I love that question. You know what? I preferred. Doesn't really matter when it comes to O Canada, but we did. Je vous salue Marie,
pleine de grâce, le Seigneur est avec vous. Vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes, et Jésus, le fruit de vos entrailles, est béni. C'est Marie, pleine de joie, priez pour nos pauvres
Wait, what song
pécheurs.
is that?
Maintenant et
Hello,
de
de
notre
notre
mort.
mort.
Amen.
Because we went to Catholic school and that was Hail Mary.
So they taught us like Hail Mary in like French
In
and
French?
stuff.
Oh,
And we
shit.
had
Just
to
like-
learn
just like-
it.
You guys
'Cause I
have
don't
that
know, I'm not
rehearsed like
French,
a
I'm not that good
song.
in
Yeah, it's like a song though.
like a
Like we turned
song.
into like a
You guys
oh,
are
yeah.
flowing. I just knew it was a prayer after you said the amen. I was like,
Yeah, I know what you mean too. And I guess like at what point did you decide on like taking it like seriously and like being like inspired by it?
Honestly, after not being able to like be close in the way that I was with certain people, or just I'll say a certain person, it definitely like led me to wanting to like just put myself out there, because I feel like I never really got to sing for them. So I'm like, let me just sing for everybody now and see if maybe they listen. But it's not like, you know, it's not geared to one person specifically, but sometimes people do gear like and motivate certain things to just like, let's start now, because you know what, I don't know when I'll be able to. And it's a way to just like, I'd rather express it through that instead of doing other things that might be harmful.
For sure. And no, I definitely know what you mean and all that. And like I know with like music nowadays too, there's like kind of like new sounds that kind of come by and all that. Like, you know, especially like the whole like alternative sound and all that too. So as far as like music that you're like listening to like nowadays, like what are you like tapping in with?
I like to listen to what my friends listen to be honest. Like my friends, like, whatever they got going on, I'm like, send me that, or not even send me that, just like send me your playlist. Or I feel like all of us collectively like show each other different tracks, and
True.
I would just say like my friends got good music taste,
True.
and I'm always learning.
True. So like with the R&B stuff, with the like alternative, with the pop, everything like that and all that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cause like, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to just like not be closed-minded when it comes to like broadening your music taste, because you might find that even liking a different music taste will lead you to meeting a whole different group of people.
Yeah, I definitely agree too and all that. And as far as like even like people who you want to like work with, like musically, who do you like really want to work with someday?
Okay, Solange, Pharrell Williams, obviously, Tyler the Creator, Raven Lene, Baddie, Steve Lacy, Sid, basically anybody from the internet. I don't know who else.
I guess people from like Odd Future, like Earl,
Real.
Damo.
Mike.
100%.
Mike.
Killer Mike?
Yeah,
Mike.
I'm not tapped
Mike
in.
all caps.
No,
Mike in all
you don't
caps.
know Mike.
Nah.
You need to get on.
Oh yeah, Mike is actually coming to Toronto on the
Yeah.
20th on 420 actually.
420.
Shout out Mike. Shout out
I
420.
think, is it next week?
What's funny is that, you know, I be trying to put Amaya on songs, and then I would send them a song. It's like, oh, I know this song. I'm like, they just know a bunch of shit. Like they're putting me on and shit. It's funny, right? So, you know, I find that sometimes I feel kind of tapped out, right? Then like everyone just be like sending me music. You know, everyone in the collective showing me some new shit. So that's definitely that's definitely a vibe. That's definitely the vibe.
For sure. And to get more onto like the backstory behind your stage name, MoistMyMy and all that, like tell me more about that.
For sure. Just always been interested in uncomfortable words, uncomfortable settings, sometimes making people feel uncomfortable. So, I'll just gotta bring it back to middle school. I'm really just like trying to make my middle school self be proud of the self that I'm now, even though they probably would not be agreeing with some of the things I've done to this point. That's okay though.
Nah.
It's not like everything is about learning lessons.
Nah.
But yeah, I just always liked the sound of like wet, gushy sounding shit. And I'm like, yeah, I like the word moist. And since middle school, I definitely just like carried that on and like, yeah, just incorporated like weird sounds and noises. I'm just like into that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think, you know, like for as far as like collaborations, like I definitely see you with like Tiara Wack and all that. Like I know she's very like great like within the whole like idea of being weird and being like open about it. Tizo touchdown and all that. Like I feel like with Tizo, like his branding and his styling, you know, it's kind of like similar to yours, like just with the facial like expressions and like everything else too. Like I definitely see you and him like on a song and all that. So
I'll take that. That's awesome.
yeah, nah, for sure. And you know, to speak more on your music, like on Spotify, like tell me more about that, and like even like getting onto like your first actual like music video and all that.
Music video, I'm thinking of, or not thinking of, like planning or in the works of like visuals for Amen. So that's like my first single though. So that was definitely love. Yet again, another love song to my love. So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I like rhythms and patterns and sounds that just like that hopefully can resonate with people.
For sure. And I'm gonna get on to Deja for a bit too. So Deja, like what was like your first like introduction to fashion, like in a sense?
Like who introduced me, kind of?
Just like from what you're seeing, like, you know, like was it like from TV? Was it from seeing like family or friends on the street with certain like fashion, or
Honestly, probably my grandmother. Like she's taught me like everything that I know. I remember really young, like when I was really young, like younger, it was like really hard for me growing up because I struggle with like ADHD as well and stuff. So it was just really hard for me to just do stuff. Like it literally took me to like grade 7 to like learn how to read properly. And like one thing that I was just like always good at, and I was just like always showed like properly, and like I, it took care and like time for her to teach me everything like that, and she just took her time, and she was just always so careful with me, and she was just always so patient and stuff, and she taught me how to sew. And that was really my first introduction, like learning how to sew, just when I was young and I was just trying to figure myself out. And I just finally found like something that I was good at, and it just made me feel like, like really good, like accomplished in a way.
true.
So, yeah.
And I guess from like brands and stuff like that, like what were you like kind of like tapping into, like with like just like on your own like style and all that?
I was really looking at like a bunch of different artists that I love, you know what I mean? And I really love Moa. I literally love Moa. Like she's my inspo. Like even my friends and stuff, like I have a lot of fashion friends in like the fashion industry, and just like, my friends in general, like, they all dress a certain way, and they all have like their own like drip and their own like swag and stuff, you know what I mean? So like I just really, I look at my friends, I look at artists, I look at art too. Like I love Basquiat, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just look at all of that.
Oh no, for sure. And as far as like, you know, working on your own pieces, like what got you into making your own pieces and all that?
What was last year? 2023?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the beginning of 2023 was like kind of rough for me. And I was just like, I just need to like, find something that I want to do, and I need to, focus my time and energy into, myself, like my career, instead of like putting into other people. And like over the year, like over, the course of that year, I was just, I started tapping into more of my creativity and stuff like that. And I just decided like one day, like I'm gonna drop like these bunny hats, because like I literally like thrifted like some like old bunny hat from like the thrift store, and then I wore it to school one day, and everybody's like, yo, like you should make this shit. Like I literally buy it. Like I'd buy it. And I'm like, wait. So I went home the next day, and then I worked on like a whole pattern and stuff like that, and then I ended up sewing it with like some like old scrap like fabric that I thrifted and stuff. And then from that, like that, it became the Daisy bunny hats and stuff like
Nice.
that. Yeah.
And in your own like definition, like how do you even like define fashion like nowadays and all that?
Fashion is just art. Like fashion is art. Like, you see somebody wearing something down the street and you're like, damn, like I like that. I'm gonna steal it from them. And I'm gonna like wear it, but I'm gonna wear it in a different way. Like fashion is literally art. Like art is like, people still art. Like people still art, and then they make it their own art, and that's how they improve on it. Even with like music and your music and you guys' music is too, like you guys sample from people. You're basically stealing their art, but you're sampling, but you're still giving them credit for it. So that's kind of how I view my fashion. Like I do that as well, but I turn it into like, my own perception, my own piece of it. And I still give credit, to the people that I sampled it from and stuff like that. But, I just like, that's what I view as art. Like I just see something that I like, or, I'm just thinking about something, like randomly, something on the bus, and like some like random thought comes in my head. And I'm like, okay, like, I want to put that into like a shirt. Like I can put that on a shirt right now, or like, I could put those on pants or something,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like, with Toronto, like they have like a booming like fashion scene and all that too. Like if you go like in the fashion district too. So in terms of like what you're seeing like in Toronto right now, do you feel like the fashion that people are having like right now is like very interesting, or is it kind of like more like tamed, like in a sense and all that?
Like where I'm at, like at okay, so I'm in fashion like design as well. I go to like George Brown for fashion design and stuff. And like I see a lot of like different styles there, but at the same time, like I see a lot of people that are, they're trying to like kind of cover up a bit, you know what I mean? Like not like I don't know how to say it. They kind of like, simmer down for like other people because they don't want to, feel like any type of way. Because, I used to feel like that too. But like from like some of the friends that I have there as well, like I just see so many like amazing outfits and just amazing things that they're doing in the fashion industry too. So it just makes me like really proud just to see people like dressing how they're dressing, like literally walking out on the street, feeling confident, like walking on the street dressing how they're dressing and just feeling okay with it, not giving a fuck at all. So yeah.
True. And like even with the fit like you're wearing right now, like you have like the chinchilla coat and all that. You also have like the chains on for a bit too. So
Yeah.
tell me more about that.
I
I
literally
think we should all do a fit check.
No, for real.
I think we all can sing.
Sing.
Yeah, let's all just do a freestyle sing right now.
Hey, no. But like, no, I literally thrifted this from the thrift store. I work at like a thrift store too, so like I literally get like a bunch of drip from the thrift store.
Do you mind saying which one or
no?
would it be public?
I don't want y'all coming there and
Okay.
stealing all the shit. No.
No gatekeeping.
No,
we don't
no.
gatekeep. We don't gatekeep.
Okay, we don't gatekeep, but like we gatekeep this spot though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want people showing up at your place
No,
of
because
work.
hey, like I seen you from an interview. Like, come to me, come to your house.
I understand. actually, like instead, you could even just shout out some places that you like.
Oh,
But yeah,
shout out,
break down your fit. Break down your fit.
But yeah, basically, like this is from the thrift store. Like my friend got it from me from the thrift store. She seen that I wanted it, so she got it from me. This some like old top from like years ago, and I just like cut it up, and then I don't even know. I'll show these after, but like I always wear my dad's like work jeans, like he paints and stuff, and I really like that's one of the things that inspired me for like my new piece that's dropping. But like growing up, like he painted and stuff, so like on his clothes, like he would just have a bunch of paint stains, and I would just find it like so cool and stuff, because I'm just like that's so cool. Like he has a bunch of paint droppings on his stuff, and I would just wear it all the time, and I'm wearing it right now too. So like definitely a big inspo with my dad because he's a painter and stuff, and I get a lot of my inspo from him. So yeah.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
And to speak more about like your brand and all that, like Days, like how did that come about, and like what was like the inspiration like behind the name and all that?
I really like daisies. And then I told my mom about it too, because my mom's like a really big supporter of my brand and stuff. Like my whole family, like they're really good support with it. But like, I don't know, one day I was like, I want to start a brand, but I'm like, I didn't know where to go from. So I'm like, okay, like let me go in bits and pieces and let me like start off slow. And I was kind of like, like, let me decide on like, like a name. And I was like Daisy, because I really like Daisy. My Instagram name was like Daisy Do at the time. But it was like DAISY. And then my mom was like, why don't you put like a flair to it so people like, it's different. Because when you search it up on Google, it's going to be like DAZEE, or you know what I mean? Like different. So, so then she came up with that and stuff like that. And then just from there I went. And then, so the brand Daisy, even like the logo and stuff, like one day I was literally like doodling and stuff in like class or whatever. And I just came up with that like logo like on the spot too. So yeah.
For sure. And like, how do you even like how's it like even like running like a fashion like brand in that sense too, and like even like creating like mini designs and all that?
It's kind of hard because like I have school and like other stuff too, so like doing all of it is kind of hard, but it just comes to me, you know what I mean? Like I just get like all my creativity from like experiences and stuff. Like when I'm like me, Kame and Maya were like going to like some event or something, like boom, like something could just inspire me at that event, and then like boom, like I'm on to like making some type of thing that inspired me from that whole like situation experience that we just had and stuff. So it's really like I just really find like my best moments, like my best pieces, just from like literally being out and about and just like living my life.
For sure.
Yeah.
And all that. Nah. And just even like in that sense, like dropping like pieces and all that, like what was like the overall reaction from others like when you released like some of like your clothing like designs like publicly and all that?
I was so scared because like my stuff is like different, like it's like different, and I wanted Daisy to be different, but I just felt like people were gonna be like this is too weird. But then I'm just kind of like I don't even give a fuck, because like at the end of the day, like Daisy's for your inner child, but it's also for myself. And like I just like for my brand, I just view it like for myself. Cause it's just like I feel like I do it for the people as well, but I feel like if I really just like focus on like what other people want, like I'm just truly not gonna be happy anymore and stuff like that. So I was like really scared to like drop those Daisy hats, but then I dropped it, and it was a good reaction and stuff like that. So it just really motivated me to just like keep on going, and I'm like still growing now. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So yeah.
Nah, I know what you mean.
I caught myself a
Yeah.
Daisy hat too, and you guys should too. Website in the
Link in
bio.
description.
Daisy.
Link in
Yeah.
the description.
Guys, like the site is being renovated, brand
Oh,
new
yeah.
Daisy.
Yeah.
What is it? Anthony, he's like my new
Period.
like designer for Daisy and stuff, and he's like doing an amazing job. So like look out for that, guys, because new stuff is dropping.
I don't know how to say his Instagram. It's like
Anthony. Wait, is it Anthony or Anthony?
I forgot it. But
I don't know.
I don't know how to say it, but
yeah.
Kind of going back to what Deja said, even just with the whole relation between sampling and stealing, right? There's a quote, you know, great artists steal type shit.
Yeah.
And you know, you mentioned that even when we go to events, a lot of inspiration comes from there. It's a
Yeah.
very creative space, right? And it's like the same with music as well. Every time I go, and I don't even really like make electronic music, but I would hear the production and I would see how people interact with that kind of sound, and I would take a lot of that into consideration even when I make
Yeah.
music. So it's like these spaces that we find ourselves in kind of just promote so much creativity. And I mentioned this earlier. That's partly why I even started VILLN, right? To try to capture an aspect of that and kind of bring it more kind of closer, more focused, right? I mean, I mentioned that it's not really that focused. Like, we're kind of like, we do a lot of things at once. But as I mentioned, it's also kind of focused where it's like, now we have this ecosystem where we can just be as creative and be as weird, right? And no matter how weird you want to be, right? Either you want to drop the weirdest music or you want to drop the weirdest clothing line, right? There's a platform for that. And that was like the
Yeah.
very important thing. It's like you could do whatever
Yeah.
and it will get support, it will get a backing,
Yeah.
right? And that was kind of the main, one of the main things I wanted to kind of do was to build that safe space for people that want to be weird, for people that want to do something different, right? So I like what you said. I appreciate it, the way you worded what you said.
Yeah, no, 100% too. And like, I mean, even with fashion too, like streetwear is like a very like big thing and all that. Like in terms of like brands like Supreme and like, you know, Denim Tears and all that, and like much more and all that. And like everyone gets updated like in certain ways too. So like, how does like everyone like stay like updated like regarding like fashion and all that?
Obviously like Pinterest and stuff. Like you see stuff on your Instagram and stuff as well, but like I don't know, like growing up, like we were just like really into like brands like Baby Fat, like Southpaw, like all of those like old like, you know, brands and stuff like that. So like I mean like I didn't really like I never really like look too much on like other people. Like yeah, like I see fits that people are wearing and stuff, but like I grew up in the thrift store. Like I literally grew up thrifting in the thrift store. People would be like, ew, like you thrift, like you're broke. Like they would like make fun of you and stuff when you thrifted at the
You
thrift
find the
store and
coolest
stuff.
shit
And you would
there.
find the coolest shit there too. And I would just stand by it. I'm like, yeah, I got that from the thrift store. And
Tell
stuff,
me
you
why
know?
I'm better
That's
dressed
what
than
I'm
you
saying.
type shit.
Come
like,
on. So like really a lot of my inspiration just comes from the thrift and just finding like pieces and simple little things that I just thought were so cute and I just like really liked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah.
no, for sure. And I know there's like this spot like on Don Mills and all that too, and it's like a well-known like for store for like people who are from like higher classes and all that, or upper middle class. Like they'll like drop off like all like Prada stuff and all that, old Gucci, all that type of stuff too, and like people are getting it from like very good prices and all that too. Like from back.
did you just put us on?
no, because I'm like I'm noting.
Because I saw like a
Gucci
TikTok
Prada.
What do you mean
regarding
Don
that.
Mills?
I saw like a TikTok regarding it, and like I think this one person went to like this thrift store and
Yeah.
they had like old like Dior, old Prada, like all that type of stuff for
damn.
like 30, 40 bucks and all that, and like people are still wearing it, you know. I think it's like at a Salvation Army or at like I think a Value Village somewhere in Don Mills and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I think
yeah.
like there was like a TikTok about it too, so I'll probably like send
That's
a link.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
actually crazy. You really just put us on.
Prada purse, like
Right.
Gucci purse, Louis
Gucci,
Vuitton.
Louis.
Yeah.
Yo, next time you guys see VILLN together, we're gonna be rocking some
Yes,
Prada, some
guys.
Gucci,
Yo.
some crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Might have
$30,
to.
$40?
That's a really good price though.
It's probably behind the counter.
Oh, for sure.
Let's be honest.
No, because watching me buy it, it just it falls apart or something too. Like
No, because
it
sometimes
just
when they get too
cracks.
old, like they deteriorate. Like
Yeah.
shoes and like in
No,
leather
because
and shit.
why
Not
one day
leather,
I
but,
was like
some
walking
materials.
on the bus and I was walking off and my foot dry rotted, like my shoe dry rotted
That's
in the
one
snow.
thing.
And I was like running
Yeah.
barefoot in the snow. And the bus driver was like laughing at me because like my shoe fell off.
Yeah.
That's so fucked.
Be careful when you're thrifting shoes with the platform,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Done.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And you know, even with streetwear becoming like a major impact within like clothing today, how has it like impacted like not only for you guys but like for the culture of like fashion and all that?
Can you say it again?
like streetwear, like Supreme, Nike, all that type of stuff and all
So
that.
how has it impacted me?
How has it impacted like all of you guys, like not only for you but like even with the culture, fashion, all that?
It's just impacted me a lot. Like I just love seeing it out and about and stuff. Like you hear it in music, like you see it like at fashion shows and stuff like that. Like, it's just like it's really everywhere and stuff. So I don't know, it just motivates me to like do better and be better, and for me one day to like have my own freaking magazine where y'all are seeing like my whole stuff and all the Daisy collections and all the Daisy new outfits and stuff like that on and stuff. So honestly, it just like it really motivates me to just level up and just keep on doing what I'm doing. So yeah.
Nah, 100%, and to even get more into like the whole like villain stuff right now. So what's like
Actually, I want to answer that question too. That's a very good question. You want to answer that question too? Because you're a very fashionable person, right?
Yeah.
Is that a question you want to answer?
Yeah. You can answer it first.
Okay, I'll answer it first. Well, with streetwear in particular, and I'm glad you asked this question because I love just the concept and the cultural impact of streetwear, where fashion was gatekept to like high fashion, and it was a very hard thing to try to get into. Whereas street fashion, right? It kind of opened the door for smaller individuals, for regular people that are really in tune and in love with fashion to kind of go into that sphere. And it's also, one of the main contributors to hip hop as a culture, where, a lot of hip hop artists rep these high-end luxury brands, right? But at the same time, they're still showing love and repping smaller creators, right? And you see like a cultural kind of shift happen with streetwear. Right, where it's like it was this gate-kept thing, and now it's like this accessible thing. And even when it's like gets super duper expensive, like there's like a hype beast culture around it. It's just built like many things. I think there are issues with it. I think the pricing could be kind of crazy sometimes, and I think you do get like a lot of copycats.
But I feel
here and
like
there, but
I feel like it just like it has allowed space for like new artists, like new people to arrive to the scene, and it's just not like the same two people like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, like you know what I mean, Versace. It's not like the same couple of
brands.
No, for
Okay,
real.
because y'all are literally everybody that's wearing luxury brands. Y'all are fitting out so I can fit in.
Wasn't we just
Yeah.
about
What
to
I'm
get
telling
some
you-
vintage from Don Mills?
It's vintage.
Who would when we're wearing
It's vintage. It's vintage.
No,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
vintage.
Second,
Yeah,
it's
secondhand.
We're not
It's
really
pre-loved.
buying.
That's
yeah,
different.
yeah. We're showing support to the
Yeah.
vintage store owners.
But you
right?
know, we need to support like our up and coming artists. We need to
Because all the luxury brands, you see how many times it's getting copy and pasted.
and look at the money that we're
And
putting into
even
them.
smaller brands are getting copy and pasted too. Look on
Yeah.
Shein, AliExpress. All of you guys are taking the small
Yeah.
creators' beautifully imaginative art
Yeah.
and selling that shit for 5 cents.
Yeah.
So
but one
is it good? No, I wouldn't say it's good.
one thing I would like to add, right, with just kind of the cultural impact of streetwear, is that it's a very local thing. So it's like you get these local brands that branch out into and become a template of their own, and then you get those copycats that
Yeah.
copy it, right? But even with one thing that I really appreciate, and I said this before about Daisy, is that they seem to know, and you said that you like you want to make weird shit, right?
Yeah.
Like you seem to know where your product fits, right?
Yeah.
Like you were in the right scene, the right time.
Yeah.
You got DJs and people in that scene wearing your hats, buying your hats, supporting you. So it's a thing where it's like it starts off local, and you have it in
Yeah.
a scene, you have it in context, and then you get other people taking inspirations from what you did. It's just like it's not gate kept to a high industry where only a select few can also.
Like everybody can, wear it. Like for me, like I
Yeah.
try to like make all my items affordable because it's just like I want people out on the street. Like I want like teenagers, I want like young adults, like people like that are just like working their regular like 9 to 5, making like 16.50 an hour. Like I want everybody to be able to afford Daisy because it's just like why not? You know what I mean? Like why am I gonna make something out of reach where people can't even wear it? Like,
Also, street band was a
Yeah.
great avenue for Black creators to get into fashion.
Yeah.
Like you got Pharrell and
Yeah.
and Virgil Abloh, creative directors at Louis
Willie
Vuitton,
Smith.
right?
yes.
And then now
yeah.
now there's a space for that. But these people started on a street fashion
Yeah.
level, and it is such a great avenue and such a great addition of fashion overall, right? Did you want to answer?
I feel like that was like a good
Yeah.
bouncing back of comments. Like,
Yeah,
well
and
said.
not for and for me to kind of add on, I feel like with streetwear too, like I feel like the best ones come from people who have an idea of like what they want to create and all that too, because like even with some merch too, like even concert merch, I feel like it could be 50-50, like depending on the situation too. Like you'll have like ones that actually put like a lot of passion to it because of their interests, like Playboy Cardi or Kanye West or like a Travis Scott and all. Then like you'll get the best merch from it, and then there's others where it could be like mediocre as well too. But like even with like regular streetwear and all that, you know, I see it like with like up and coming creators too, like with Blasies, with Desto Dub of like off a lot of like cough syrup and all that, and like even with some people like in Toronto too, like Ugly Worldwide and all that, Nice and like much more. It's like
Shout out Creeps.
yeah, Creeps too and all that, and it's just like knowing like what you want to put like on like with the logo, like what you want to like kind of like design and all that. And I feel like everyone has a different niche of like what they want to do and all that. With Ugly Worldwide, it's like, you know, with the face mask and like the shiesties and all that, and like with Desto Dub, it's like more of like the Dickie suits and all that, and like the hoodies and like the track suits and all that, and like even with like Nice too and all that with Blasi, who's like, you know, like Los Angeles based like you know, like fashion designer. It's like more like, you know, the innerwear and all that, you know, with like stuff for the home and all that stuff for the crib, like depending on the situation. And yeah, it's just like knowing how you put the passion on it. With like Supreme and like other stuff too, it could be hit or miss sometimes and all that.
Well said.
Yeah, for sure. And to even like get back
Guy
on,
just flexed how many brands he
No,
knows.
I was just coming up to. I was like,
that was crazy, bro. All these brands, like I didn't even know some of them.
yeah, nah, for sure, man. Nah, you definitely got to like tap in
I'm
regardless.
telling you,
Yeah.
bro.
Educated in the
tapped
fashion
in.
industry. I love that,
Bro's
though.
tapped in with music and fashion.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
Nah, for
He
sure.
just put us on to so much
yeah.
shit.
To
Yeah,
be honest.
yeah. Shout out Blasi, shout out Desto Dub and all that for sure. And to even like speak more on like 99 Herd and like New Sound, like what was like the relationship of those two and how did that come about?
For sure.
They're
Well,
amazing.
No, we
They're
definitely
amazing.
met Agile at an after party like last year, and then after that, like she really just like opened my world, my kaleidoscope of art and music and like expressing myself. And she honestly gave me confidence to like just like start putting myself out there artistically more. So it's like, and she already knew that she was about like a collective and stuff. So I was like, all right, like my friends are into art too. Like, let's get this shit on the road, to be honest. And like, I don't know. She just put me through a good avenue, and
Nice.
she is so inspirational. Like, she does so many things, and she's a teacher. She's an artist.
she's a teacher, like an actual teacher.
Like,
I didn't
She
know
literally
that.
teaches DJing.
Oh, teaching
Agile
DJ.
teacher in many
I was about to
ways,
say, like a
like-
teacher, like a school
No, but she
teacher.
teaches all around.
and she travels
Yeah.
too. Like,
Oh, sure.
she's well traveled. Like,
Yeah.
she's just like a really cool person. And whoever she's around, like all the other collective and not collective, all the other like people that she's
very
is associated
supportive.
with too. Yeah, she's very supportive too. Like, everyone's just like really amazing, honestly.
Yeah,
and
she's
everyone has their
spotlight.
own
Yeah.
little niche, their own little their own little thing that makes them who they are. And like, as a group, it's just so amazing to see everyone
Yeah.
together. It's always just like good energy.
Yeah,
sure.
she spotlighted VILLN. One thing I realized about 999 Herd is that, you know, as much as they focus on their collective alone is almost like a broader ecosystem, right? Where they're a part of, you know, they're associated and somewhat a part of VILLN. We're somewhat a part of their brand. Our brands are separated, of course, but like it's just like this ecosystem of creativity, and they just show so much love and support. I mean, you know, do you want to talk about them too?
Oh
or-
yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, like Agile, she's amazing. Like, you know, like what Kame saying, like, you know, she supports like other, you know, collectives and stuff like that. Like since
Black
the day,
collectives.
yeah, black collectives as well. But like since the day that I met Agile and I met her through Amaya at an event as well, like I don't even know. After that, she was like, you know, she took my bunny hat from Amaya and she was like wearing it and rocking it at her set and stuff like that. And I remember, you know, she even helped me like when Daisy first started. She was one of the first people that helped me like get my brand out there as well, and you know, do a cute little pop-up shop and stuff like that. So she's just honestly amazing, and I just love how she just supports the community. She supports the black community, and she wants everybody to thrive. It's like never any negative energy where, you know, like, you know, some collectives, or, you know, some people, or you know some people. No, I'm not like name dropping.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
No, I'm not.
I got
like,
scared for a
no, there's
second.
nothing that I'm name dropping or anything like that. There's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
you know, people that, you know, that I've met or whatever and stuff like that, they're kind of just like, you know, they want to gatekeep stuff for themselves. But like Adjo was like, no, like, I'm gonna share this world with y'all. I'm gonna put everybody on, and I'm gonna support all of you guys because I want to see everybody thrive. Also, Noah Collective as well. Shout out to Noah Collective because they literally helped me like with Daisy like in the beginning too and stuff like that. And they're so supportive, and you know, they really like, you know, they look, you know, for like Black creatives and just creatives in general to just like, you know, thrive with and like bring everybody up. And they Noah Collective, Adjoa, all of them, like they just want to see everybody thrive. They just want to see everybody grow, and they just want to see everybody, you know, be the best that they can be and just do the best that
Shout
they can
out
do. You know?
art
So, yeah.
for art's sake.
No.
It's at OK
Yeah.
Studios.
I went there the other day.
Yeah,
It was so nice.
It's a free art exhibit.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
and
An amazing group of artists,
MoistMyMy's pieces are showcased
So
there.
Azaria.
And and Azaria as well. That's
Yeah.
right. A lot of amazing artists, and it's just like that's just another case of how much Adjoa in particular kind of supports us. Like she would put us on to many things.
She's so
Her pronouns is she, her,
connected.
right?
Yeah.
You know, she would put us
She
on
be
to a lot of
fostering
things,
groups
and-
of people.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
She's
let's
just an amazing
let's not
person.
forget Ogaga.
Oh,
Right, he's out of the country now, but I fucking
Yeah,
love
he's
Ogaga.
amazing
He's a very
too.
supportive person, very open-minded
Yeah.
person. You know, we talk a lot, and he gives me advice, and you know, he's there as well. He's just out of the country.
he's an amazing artist.
Yeah,
He makes a lot of like digital art. Super cool.
Oh, that's right. He's also a graphic designer. And speaking of graphic designers, shout out to Lee Rose, aka I call him Trey, my OG. It's more of a joke. But he's another cool guy. And just like that whole scene, like so many amazing
they're
people
just
in that whole
amazing
scene.
people.
Yeah.
Like the whole collective, the whole group of them, they're just like really
Because it's
good
hard to find a
people.
group like that, especially in Toronto, that's like true.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
very heavy on the let me
Keep it to
gatekeep or let me
myself.
just like
Yeah.
you can only be a certain way to be in this group.
Yeah.
Like it's really not like that
But
when
it's
it comes to
not
their
like- yeah.
collectives. Like everybody's so different but complements each other so well.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Andrew also gives a lot of commission to little artists. Like
she
I did an art
does.
piece for Adjoa, and I find that like Adjoa get like a lot of small illustrators, artists to do like logos, flyers, or just a pose. Like in my case, it was just like a simple pose, kind of be like, hey, you know, this is our mission as 999 Herd, and it was like my artwork that she commissioned me for. So it's like just the opportunity and the platform, right? And when I talked like earlier, I even said like VILLN, like the promise that I give is not the answer, because I'm not the only person with a collective, right? There are so many beautiful collectives, and I'm grateful that I get to build a platform with amazing talents,
for
right?
sure.
And you know, people keeping it real, people that are part of this like overall in just community
Yeah,
of,
no,
of
sure.
creatives and people that are real and care about art,
Yeah, no, for sure.
right?
And I mean, we also talked about like how even with VILLN, it's like very big on like promoting like Black women, like showcasing like everyone to be together and all that, and to have like a safe space for like Black women as well too, and all that, like for Black femme presenting like women and like everyone else too and all that. So it's like very like interesting to like see in that way too and all that.
As mentioned, that is definitely a space I pride myself in providing. But again, it was more or less coincidence. Everyone is welcomed.
Yeah.
in our
VILLN
space.
is for everybody. Like
It's for
VILLN is for
everybody,
everybody.
but
Yeah.
it just
For
so
the girls,
happened.
for
It
the
just so
girls,
happened
yeah.
exactly. It just so happened to, you know,
Yeah.
to all come together and just kind of be how it is. Right? It was a very organic process. Right? I started the collective, not a lot of thought put into it to who will be in it, and then it just kind of formed by itself, and it kind of gave itself meaning. As I mentioned, I wasn't even one that made the name VILLN. It was these two that kind of.
Yeah, we were on the subway going
Yeah.
crazy in the notes app.
Trafiki stuff. We're doing some like random
No.
thing.
Nah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Actually, can you tell the story how the name came to be? Because I don't know it.
It was on the bus. We were literally right on the way
Yeah.
home from some next.
guys
I think we went to
rapping?
OCAD. We went to OCAD or
Oh,
something.
went to
Yeah.
OCAD?
I don't even remember
Wait,
what
but
it was
remember
for.
we had a different name and we were like, no.
Yeah, it was like some
name-
next. We
Wait,
just
what
had
was
so
the
many
old
different
name?
ideas.
What was the old name?
It fucking sucked. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot.
I brought it up once, like before you guys came. I don't want to. That name fucking sucked. I was just trying to find a name I
Yeah.
thought sounded cool. Like I was like just like names like Odd Future. I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool.
Yeah. But like we
Right.
did villains
It was
because
it was a name without meaning, but VILLN has so
Uh-huh.
much meaning.
but like we chose it because we were like, honestly, like let's be the villains.
Let's
Like,
be the
like,
villain.
they calling me the bad
let's be
I'm the bad guy. Like,
Whoa, that was
No, I'm the bad guy.
completely in sync. That was crazy. That was insane.
Yeah. Nah, for
Oh,
sure.
that's crazy. But like, no, we literally just decided to name it villain because like let's be the bad guys for once.
It's
like,
cute.
Are we the bad guys? We're the
Sometimes being
I
bad
don't
is
know.
a good thing.
We're just doing some like random stuff on the subway, guys. Like
Literally.
Know what you
the
mean.
TTC be getting like
They
everything.
be
out of it.
putting
Correct.
chemicals in the air
It's the
in there,
perfect, bro,
and
it's
they
the
be
perfect-
making the 5G towers.
It gives you superpowers. We just got our
Yeah.
superpowers on the subway.
No,
like,
for real.
Nah, for
Shout
sure.
out
Most
the
definitely.
TTC.
Yeah.
Apart from all the bad things that happen at the
Yeah.
TTC,
Shout out Line 3.
Oh,
Shout out Line 3.
Line
R.I.P.
Oh,
Line 3.
RIP line, yeah.
The RT. The RT was the place to
I
be.
repeat, the RT.
Yeah, for sure. Now, 100% too. And we just only have like a couple questions like left and all that. But I want to ask, like, how do you guys even feel about the Toronto creative scene? And do you feel like there should be some changes on how the scene should be improved, or do you feel like it's fine the way it is?
More funding for sure.
Yeah.
Because you can tell, especially in areas like, obviously, because there are like mayors or like provincials that like are around a specific area, but it's like you can just tell when more places are getting funded than the other, and it's like
Yeah.
maybe if I don't know much about taxes, but like we can let's cough up some coin to something,
out
to some
taxes.
creativeness instead
out
of like
taxes.
Shout out
nonsense.
taxes. Without them,
Or like even like
Easier said than
more
done, though, for
spaces,
sure.
like more community spaces for people to create. Like I know OK Studios, like Noah Collective and stuff like that, and all those other places and stuff. But like more studios to just create that are like open to the public, that are open to everybody, and that are free and you don't have to pay for. Because like now you have to pay for everything, like shillings and dimes and shillings and dimes. You have to pay for like everything.
100%.
actually speaking of that as well, because your last question was also a relationship with New Sound. And that's something I find that they provide, right? I personally have a very good relationship with both Jay and Norada, right? Very, very professional, right? They know their equipment, they know how to run their events. And speaking of like just having that free space, that open space to kind of be creative, they would host like open rehearsals, open mic kind of things where artists could just come in. And we've been for the sake of our show, we've been taking a lot of advantage of that, right? Doing rehearsals, and they're also helping us run our first VILLN event and the events to come as well. And they've made, for me, like the process incredibly easy. There are a lot of things that are still stressful that we have to kind of go over. There's a lot of planning, right? But they seem to always be there to answer questions and always be there to kind of guide and support and work with me. And they'll take my advice into consideration. So it's been relatively
Like
a
a grip-
smooth
grip- yeah,
ride.
no, I know
A
what you
smooth
mean, too.
ride, right? We sold out super fucking fast twice because we did the RSVP first, and then we did the tickets again, and we sold out like
Oh, nice.
in like a day or two. So it was
Everybody and their mama
crazy.
come to the VILLN's event. This is our
Alright.
first event,
Pack up,
April
jam up, jam up,
27th.
jam event.
April
And
27th.
I'm just gonna let you guys
Yeah.
like talk about it. Like, tell me more about that and like what people can expect.
It's just gonna be good vibes.
It's gonna
like,
be good
Everybody and their
vibes.
mama and their
Party,
uncle and their auntie sisters
movie.
gonna be there. Yeah.
So we're gonna have some DJs pop out to do a set,
Yes.
right? And we got 6 artists. I'm not gonna spoil the structure, but you'll
Sneak
see it. You'll see it when you see it, right? We're gonna have a. You wanna talk about?
Oh,
your,
we gonna have a fashion show, guys.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom.
And you
We gonna
got-
have a fashion show. Yeah.
And you're gonna have a lot of amazing artists as
Yeah.
well. Some that you might already know because they've been on the Lens of Yashu as well, such as Paris. Shout out Paris, right? Shout out Vile, right? Shout out a lot of the artists. Dazzy is also gonna have his first performance with us as well. He did rehearsals yesterday. The rehearsals went well, by the way.
Okay.
And
Chanel as well too. Like I actually photographed her like a while back, like 3 years ago. And all
oh
that.
wait, was she on your show?
No, like I photographed her at a concert and all that. But she's a very dope singer and all that.
You do
Amazing
photography?
Singer.
Yeah, I still do, but not as much anymore and all that. Like that's how I kind of started like the Lens of Yashu and all that. Just started off with photography, videography, and it like led on to like many more. I've explained it like I think a couple like stuff and all that with podcasts too. So if people want to like tap that in, like check that out as well too and all that. But
It's gonna be crazy vibes. Smoke machine, neon lights, $4 tequila shots.
Good vibes and
$4.
good times.
Right.
For sure.
So even
First come, first serve.
for the
No, I'm
entire
kidding.
What?
for the
sure.
entire
Always
night.
welcome.
Oh, for the drinks?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
And where can they find you all like on like Instagram and all that or on any social media?
Well, apart from the VILLN page, which has all of us on it, how's this? How's like VILLN period?
Is it Z?
No.
Is there a Z?
No, it's VILL dot N 000. 3 zeros or 2 zeros?
I thought it was
I
like
don't
001 or
remember.
something.
No, there was
There's
no
no
Who
one.
made the account? Wasn't it Tayo?
It was Tayo, remember? Yeah, Tayo made the account. Then we
Shout
all
out
had access.
Tayo.
Shout out Tayo.
Shout
Link
out
in
Tayo.
description.
Tayo
Link
is
in
a,
description.
is a group member of ours as well, part of VILLN.
Yeah, I talked about Tayo like one like we were talking about the creation of VILLN because they're the co-founder.
Tayo's
right?
gonna be mixing at the event too,
Yes,
guys. Pull
right.
out.
Great music that they were playing. You know, dope DJ, dope producer as well.
Very beautiful, very talented.
Afro-headed, beautiful.
They actually got
Yeah.
their afro recently,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
now we're all
We're
rocking afros.
afros.
We gotta do an
Guys,
afro
yeah,
photo shoot.
yeah.
I'm in the hiding right now, but like we all have
Afro photo
afros.
shoot type
Reveal,
shit.
reveal soon, reveal soon.
Guys, let me just take it off. Like,
And
let me lift it
Wig
up.
reveal?
and obviously me, Kame _ True Blonde.
Okay. Daisy, DAZEE, do DEW. Wait, DEW dot underscore Daisy do, guys. Daisy, and also the Daisy account DAZEE some underscore something, I don't remember, but just search up DAZEE. Yeah.
Link in bio.
Link in bio,
Link in
link in
bio.
description.
In description.
Shadow for shadow, like
Shout out, shout out for shout out is crazy.
Yeah, they did it again.
Shout out for shout out.
That was crazy.
Amaya Alexis, AMAIAH ALEXIS. That's my regular account or my main account, and then art account is at MoistMyMy.
say it though, say it.
MoistMyMy.
Yeah.
That's my art account.
And you've heard it here first, folks. Tap into the event soon and all that. I know it's like sold out for a bit, but definitely tap in if you can and all that. This is episode 82 of TLOY Talks. You can get this on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, much more. Tap in with the collective, tap in with what they have and all that. And yeah, it'll be good vibes either way, you know. And this is episode 82 of TLOY Talks with Josh, also known as Yashu, with Kame, with Daisy, with Mai. We're all signing off right now.
I will also say, if you can't get a ticket, message the VILLN page on Instagram or New Sound. Thank you very much. Oh, I just cracked my fingers. Thank you very much.
You don't need a ticket though. Just come through.
In the link in
Everybody
the
pull
description,
up.
right? All the pages
It's for
will be in the link in the
everybody.
description.
It's for everybody and they mama. It's for everybody
Great
and they
vibes.
mama.
Thank you.
Signing off.